Welcome to Organizing Elephants. I'm your host, Darla DeMorrow, and this is the show with sanity-saving organizing wisdom from smart, busy, accomplished women. You're watching on MLTV Mainline Network. We have a great guest for you today, and I'm excited for you to meet Maria O'Connell. She is a colleague of mine. She is the owner of the Express Pros Employment Professionals franchise in Fraser. And Maria, thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me, Darla.
Well, I wanted you on the show because you and I have had several conversations offline about how much we love organizing, how much organizing is essential to both of our businesses and our lives. We both have families, we both have busy enterprises, and I'm just so grateful that you made time to come out here. We're taping on a Monday morning, so it's a great way to start the week. Thanks for coming.
It is. You're welcome.
So I gave the name of your company, and just in case I screwed that up, I want you to correct me and tell us a little bit about what you do, because you've only been in business doing this for the last couple of years.
Sure. So I own Express Employment Professionals in the Chester County area, and we are located at 215 Lancaster Avenue in Malvern, right in the Lincoln Court Shopping Center. And that is where we have our space, and I will say where everything, heart, brain power, and moxie hit the ground running. And so what we do there, we've been there, we launched in 2015, so we started day one of year 5 on November 9th. And it's been an interesting journey, so hopefully through this conversation we'll uncover some more about that. But Express Employment Professionals is a way for us to really help business owners. I like to describe us as the Match.com for business. And but what the business we're really in is providing hope, because we work with job seekers to help them create an extraordinary life and to really find a way to bring their strengths and their skills and their passion to their work. So we staff the industrial areas. We work with a lot of manufacturing and warehouse, and I love that side of the business. I feel like I'm a real life how's it made. I go into places where I have hairnets or safety glasses, or sometimes I have work boots on, it's just, and then sometimes around a board table. So it really gives me a chance to understand that side of our life. And I'm here to tell you that in Chester County, we have amazing products and services happening that I get to see and be part of every day. We do also help with office and business services, and really do a lot of professional staffing as well. So we're full service. I have a great team of people in my office and also who work with us as associates. So that's a little bit about Express Employment Professionals.
That's awesome. And thank you for sharing that. That's actually how we got to know each other. If I can just tell that story. I was actually having lunch in that shopping center with some friends that day. And just to put a pin on where that is, it's in the Giant Shopping Center and where the QVC outlet is. Yep. So a lot of people will know that. That your wing is actually sort of new. That was added on 5 years ago when you started. So I was having lunch and sort of wandered in there, and as small business owners are often, I think, want to do, I kind of said to you, I'm a little guy, right? But I, from time to time, need to add to my staff, and can you help me out? And you said absolutely, and we had a great conversation, and you, in my eyes, have been my HR department, my staffing department ever since.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe, and that's the role we like to play. We always say, we're in this to build partners, and we want to be part of your team, and we act and behave as part of your team. And I think that makes us a little bit different since we live and we work locally. We get to know our clients, we get to know our associates, and we really try and meet people where they are.
Right.
So we work with small business owners like yourself, but we also work with manufacturing companies that are very large, and and other companies in between. So it really is not one size fits all. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part for me, is that it's such a diverse group of people that we work with, not only on the job seeker side, but also on our client side.
Right. And I think we, again, align in that way, because I think neither of us have the same day twice. You know, we go into work and we're solving problems, whether it's for ourselves or for our clients.
It's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So there's an aspect of being able to be creative in that problem-solving realm all the time.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a big puzzle,
Yeah.
quite frankly. And in today's job market, I guess you could say it's even harder to find the right fit because there's many more jobs available than people to fill them, and that isn't going to get better quick. You know, just looking at the statistics, I mean, we're here hovering at about 2.6% unemployment. So, you know, when you think about that, you really have to think about what's important for the person who is looking to either make a move or change direction. I mean, they're kind of in the driver's seat. On the business side, though, you know, you have production goals to meet. You have, you know, clients that you've promised to. So our job really is, and this is not a business that you can dabble in anymore. We do this 24/7. So, you know, we want to make sure that it's a good fit, and we have programs in place to help our clients, you know, run the drill a bit. So we have a way to do an evaluation hire so that both the job seeker and the client have a chance to make sure it's a good fit. It's different than if you have to walk in and say yes and, you know, kind of sign up. That works great with people that are in transition or really want to make a move. We also do direct hire. So, you know, we're kind of helping people move around a little more seamlessly.
Right.
But it is a big puzzle, and there's a lot of moving parts. And one of the things that I bring to this business that I learned in my software development career, I spent about 26 years in healthcare IT before I decided to take early retirement, which actually lasted for 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's not my idea of retirement, by the way. We can talk about that later.
Who wants to retire? That's not fun.
I know. I'm kind of thinking that. But anyway, so one of the things that we do in software development is Agile Scrum. And that is a great way to visually see software code moving across the process from requirement to use case to code to testing. And so I really love the visual aspect of that because you can't ever touch code. But you need to be able to get your team rallied around where you are and where you're headed. So we've implemented that in our office. And what we do is we take our job orders and we move them through the process on a board, and we physically move where we are in that process. And as part of our AM and PM meetings, which is really where we organize and, you know, kind of check in, where you at, where you need help, all these kinds of things, we can actually see our hard work making a difference. And for us, it's really about putting someone to work. That's where the magic happens, and that's what we do. You know, that's really what our goal is. But there are a lot of pieces in between that have to happen. So that's a great way for us to stay organized. It's also a great way for us to really see what's upcoming and also what's not coming, if you will. And that way we can strategize differently on our marketing and on our sales and also on the associates that we're recruiting.
Well, I love that. You just went right into how you're staying organized at work, and you're taking a modern day activity, which is filling employment roles and helping people get to the next employment opportunity. And like you said, you can't really touch and feel that. It's not the same as organizing your pencil drawer where you can put pencils on the right or the left and you see what you did. And you're kind of turning that, you're using almost an old school technology to create a concept that you can then physically touch and move along a board. We used to do that when I was at my former corporation too, and way back before we had any of these technologies, before we were walking around with supercomputers in our back pocket. And now you're using sort of the best of both worlds to get the job done, to stay organized. And I think that's one of the things that when I'm working with executives, they're often challenged by, you know, how do I take these concepts and organize my thoughts to get the job done in the fastest way, in the best way, you know, within budget. So, so I love that you're using the best of both worlds.
And I like it for another reason too. In my office, it's really important to me that my team finds joy and purpose in their work. That's so important to me.
Amen. That is very, I mean, what else do you have? Nobody wants to come to work and not be happy.
You know, I don't hire people on my team that trade time for money. That's not how I operate. And so what this does is also allows us to rally around what we have accomplished, because your mind's always going to be focused on what you haven't completed yet, but this gives us a chance to see where we are in the work that we have completed, and we celebrate that.
Yeah.
So you can expect to walk by my office sometimes at 4:30 and there's a dance party happening because
Awesome.
we need to get up and move around.
Right.
And so it is a great way for us to do that. We also, on that board, look at some key KPI stats to see where we are. A big one for us is, this is how many new starts we had last week. This is how many new starts we had this week. We can kind of see, and for me as an owner, that's growth, right? So I need to see that number improving.
Right. And define KPI for us.
That's a key product indicator, key production indicator. It's really, those things, those metrics in your business that are going to be critical.
Right. That's one thing that I love about this show is we've got, we've had artists on, we've had people from the business sector, we've got somebody from the engineering sector lined up coming on. And my hope is that my followers who are watching this, whether it's on MLTV, Mainline Network, or this does go on YouTube, that just some of those business terms that maybe somebody isn't using in their daily life, we can help them learn through, a little show like this.
Yeah, and I think, when you sit back and you think about what makes a difference, where the impact in your business happens as a business owner, you really only want to have 2 or 3 that you're really focused on. I mean, there's certainly many more that I look at, but visually and the ones that we can rally around, and I always try and pick ones that I know my team is absolutely making a difference with. I mean, if they're too far removed, it's not as much fun.
Right.
So,
and it is, don't you think as a business owner, it is easy to potentially chase the next glittery thing, the next shiny thing out there, and if you do that too much and you're communicating that to the team, it is easy to kind of have the team go, wait, what am I doing today? That you fracture their attention. And as a result, sometimes you find you're not getting as much done.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
Yeah. So, well, you and I have both have families. Your kids are a little older than mine, but you get the joy of working with them too.
I do. I actually see my daughter every day, Kelly Clark. She and her husband just got married, and they're expecting their first child. So
I didn't know that. Congratulations.
Yeah, over the past 24 months, a lot has happened there. But that's really kind of one of the best parts of my work is that I get to see Kelly every day. I always say that. And everybody says, wow, how do you two work together so closely? And
well, she's not 13 to start with.
No.
You're past that stage.
Yeah, that's it. But I think what we have come to learn is her strengths are not my strengths, and my strengths are not her strengths.
Oh my gosh, that's the person you need to be working with.
It's perfect. I mean, I think when it comes to, work ethic and really communication, I think we have practiced and grown in how we do that with each other. And then also, she's our vice president of marketing and business development. So she really is focusing on our client base, really kind of driving that growth. And she's done a fabulous job. We've had double and triple digit growth numbers come in, which I'm very proud of. And then also, I'm kind of looking at the internal operations. So we do divide and conquer a bit. But, I got to say, each one of the people that I have working on my team really plays an integral part. Katie Beth Geary is our senior staffing expert, and she puts a lot of people to work. And, I never met a person with a bigger heart and a way to be able to connect with anyone who walks through the door. She just has that. That's her gift, and she does it very well. So we have a really strong team, and we're growing this year, so that's also a good thing.
One of the things that I know you and I talk about a lot is that I think maybe people would be surprised to hear is that you're not just filling temporary roles, and you're not just filling full-time roles either. You do have a breadth. As an example, in my company, we hire permanent part-time employees. So these are people who don't want to work 40 hours a week, quite frankly, don't want to do that, but want to be out there and keeping their technical skills sharp, the things that they've learned at school or in their previous jobs. And they don't necessarily want to be sitting home not doing anything, but they don't want to be doing 40 hours a week. Maybe they've got young kids at school, maybe they're taking care of families, or maybe they just need a break. And I love that you can fill that role for them. And that, I think, is something that, in fact, I know that's something that as people have come to me, they're afraid to say, I don't want to work full time. And yet you can help them, and your staffing folks can help them determine, can we get you a permanent part-time, meaningful part-time job, or do you need a more traditional 40-hour role? We've got those too, and I love that you have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. So we try and really kind of put a package together when we work with a job seeker or someone who wants to transition in whatever way that looks like from their current position to a new one. We really kind of sit down and put together a staffing plan for them and decide, there are some people that love to work in my organization and they love going on different assignments. So they love going out to different clients and, they'll say, I can work 40 hours this week. Next week I can only work 20. And then we kind of set it up that way. Are you starting to feel the big puzzle?
Yeah.
Lots of people, lots of moving parts. Then we have people that really are saying, I'm very highly skilled, but I don't want to do 40 hours a week. It just doesn't fit into my life. What do you have? And that gives us a chance to partner like people with like yourself to be able to say, I have this person. I know you have a bit of flexibility in the schedule. I think they might be very helpful in your organization. And then
or maybe the gal or the family who goes to the shore, goes to, travels during the summer when the kids are off. Maybe a corporate job isn't going to work for them, but there's something else out there that really would.
So I think the one thing that I came into this business, I was actually quite shocked. So when I bought this franchise, I heard the word temporary. Like that's not what I have in my organization. So I would never have bought a temporary business. That's the number one reason why people leave organizations, because they don't have inclusion. So I don't know where that word came from, but it didn't resonate with me. Express, we have associates, and they are on my team. And so we offer them health care and other benefits, and that way they are part of a community and organization. And that gives us a really strong way to support Chester County business and other areas outside of Chester County to be able to offer that out. And that's really my goal for 2020, is to even strengthen that community and bring more love and joy to everybody that's in it, because I can't sit here and describe to you the amount of just overabundance that I have experienced with watching people's lives change and really just connecting them in small ways and the difference that it makes. I'll give you an example. I had worked with a gentleman early on when I opened the business, and he wasn't, doing so great. And I don't know, I connected with him, and he connected with me. And we built a bit of trust, and so I was actually coaching him in a lot of ways, which I do tons of coaching in my work. And so he went through a couple positions, and I was like, look, this is not really getting you where you want to go, and here's the things I think we need to work on. So about 2 weeks ago, this gentleman walks into my office, and I was brought to tears. I mean, thriving. Has been on his current position that we placed him in for well over a year, just went from survival to thriving in, probably 24 months. Totally sparkly eyes, the whole 9 yards. I mean, in my office, we just kind of were just enjoying that, and it did bring me to tears because I'm so happy for he and his family. And so, what I've come to learn in this business is that, we all have the big goals, but it's also, how do you really appreciate every small little thing that happens in your life? And, the impact that I have the potential to make on people's lives is very positive or not so. And so I really work hard to make sure that even if the message isn't positive, that we deliver it with, empathy and really try and help that person get to the next step. So that's been an eye-opening experience for me. When I started to think about what my next opportunity would look like, I was really at a crossroad. I was choosing to get a doctorate, or I was going to open a business. So you know where I went with that. And people always ask me the question, so I'm going to preempt it. So if you had to do it over again, would you do this? And emphatically, my answer is yes. I probably would rethink the first 24 months if I had to tell myself again, like what that was like. But, giving myself the grace, I never did this before. That transition was very big. Year 3 was a bit different for me, and year 4 and 5, I'm expecting to be just awesome. So But yes, I would do it. And the reason I will do it again is because this is really not about me. This is about the people that I serve and the clients that we really help. And it's given me a chance to grow my servant leadership, which is really important to me. The other thing about organizing, so you understand now we've got lots of moving parts.
Give us some more organizing tips for the business. And, I love what you said a minute ago, sparkly eyes, I call it bright eyes.
Yeah.
I want to be working with people who have that sort of spark in them, who have those bright eyes, and I want to bring more of that out of them and help them, thrive where they are, whether they're my clients or my employees. So I totally get what you're saying there. Yeah. So tell us some more about how you stay organized in the workplace, and then let's talk about your home.
Sure. So I think at work, the big thing for us, and this is going to straddle between home and work, is like paper is like not good for me. I don't do it well. I get disorganized quickly, and it becomes piles, and they're not helpful.
Yeah, and you're making the face that everybody makes, like ooh, paper.
I just don't like it. So, and I'm an IT girl. I mean, I've been doing technology for a long time. So one of the things that I think really is interesting to me, when I bought the franchise, I really appreciated that the IT systems came with it. Like, I opened the box and they were there.
Yay.
Truth be told, I bought a franchise because I really didn't want to do all that other stuff. I was looking for a business development opportunity. I wanted to get going, learn this business, and see if I could get
That's the great
from
thing
zero
about a franchise.
to profitability and how quick I could do that.
Sure.
Now, when I say IT systems, so I think a lot of times we don't capitalize on the IT systems that we're using. We use a few functions.
Right.
And so what we've really committed to in our office is that we do all of our documentation in our system. So we wear headsets when we're on the phone, we're documenting when we're talking to someone, we're documenting. So we don't have sticky notes, papers. I mean, like we have a notebook, which I'm going to tell you about. But really, that's just to trigger. But all of the meat and potatoes, that's all in our system. And we weren't doing that as diligently as we should have been in the beginning. And so I'm going to reveal that I clean my office every week. Like I had a cleaning service, and I decided that that wasn't good for me.
Right.
But what I do when I clean my office, it gives me a chance to really understand where things are good and where they're not good, because I see things that a cleaning service is not going to notice.
Right.
So when I was like cleaning, I was like, wow, there's way too many sticky notes, way too many papers. Like things are just like not organized.
They're open loops.
They are. They're like, yeah,
it's like an open
participles.
Right, an open circuit. It's I tell people it's like an open circuit on a battery. If you keep touching that battery over and over again, you're not necessarily powering something, but you're depowering or unpowering the battery, and that's what those open loops do to our brain and our spiritual energy as well.
I totally get it. And the other big thing that it's not closing the loop is we work as a team. Yeah. So if I've spoken with someone or I have a piece of paper, my colleague doesn't have it. So now the person calls, and then we don't look like we've got our...
And you are the bottleneck.
Right. So we've made a commitment, and I would suggest that that's probably the biggest one, because instead of making more room for more paper, you make less room for that and more room to kind of interact. Right. This year, I'm so excited. Express launched eDocs, and so we even have less paper.
Good.
Yeah, so that's been a really great transition for us.
And I think that's the key word, is transition. Nobody does that naturally. That is something that happens because you've made a commitment to it. Yeah. Technology, we didn't have technology 10, 20, 30 years ago like we do now. And you and I both have a corporate history, so we actually have to make that decision to be using those tools that are now available to us.
Yeah, and really, if you take a look at IT systems, the functionality that you use is very small compared to what's built into that. Yeah.
So that's a great tip, and great learning from your 5 years doing what you've been doing with Express Pros. Let's, in the few minutes that we have left, let's talk about some secrets or tips that you have to keep yourself organized at home.
All right. So hands down, I have a great tribe. I really do, and I think that's,
And by tribe, you mean?
I mean, so I have someone who helps me clean my home. My family and I have kind of divided and conquered. I have grown, and in my owning a business, to accept people's help.
Yeah. Wow, that's a big one.
It is. It really is. And so I really have tried to say, okay, they can do that better than I can, and I need to do this, this, and this. all of that tribe is so that I can sleep more. Honestly, I know that sounds kind of silly, but
Oh no, girlfriend, I get it. I tell my employees too, you're either going to help me make money or sleep more, and both of them are equally good right now.
yeah, I mean, really, there's only so many hours in the business day. So from 8 to 5, I'm not doing owner work.
Right.
You know, I've got to do that somewhere else. So I really need to shift some of that time.
Yeah.
And I also think that, you know, there's a wellness component to my tribe, and I do appreciate that. You know, I work with, you know, different practitioners on mindfulness and just keeping myself, you know, where I can have the energy to really kind of move forward. The tip that I'll share with you on the home side is simple, but let me tell you, it works well for us. So, you know, grocery shopping and all those lists and all that kind of stuff, one of the things that we started to use so that we could kind of share the responsibility is I use an iPhone. And the notes pages on the iPhone, you can actually create a list and tag someone else to be part of that list. So throughout the course of the week, we're all adding to this list, and then when someone goes to the grocery store, you can actually check it off and it comes off the list.
And is that just on the iPhone Notes feature?
It's just the iPhone Notes
That's
feature.
a new feature. I actually haven't used that. I'm going to try it.
It's awesome.
But they've just added, like within the last 6 months, they've added a whole bunch of new features to that Notes capability.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get people to use Evernote for years, but now there's a whole bunch of, you know, there's a whole bunch of features there that are built in, and I always say use the tool you have right in front of you. Use that first before you go looking for something else. So that's a great tip.
It is, and you know, I'm not a big list person. That's just how my brain thinks.
Yeah.
I keep a lot in my head. I should probably start doing more lists, but I don't. But there are a couple key ones that I do. And then it really just helps share the responsibility and also add to what it is that we need to do there. So we use that. We've been starting to use that, and I love that it comes in. There's a little circle, and then once you know, you can either check it off or.
I'll be sending you a list, Maria. We're going to share a list after that.
I'll teach you how to do it. It's really quite
because
simple.
you know that I'm always saying, right? I mean, our lives are too big. We have too much to keep track of. We have too much going on. And how do you eat an elephant? Not all at once.
One bite at a time.
There you go. So all of these tools that help us, you know, take the big and take the projects and the overwhelming and break it down into something that we can do ourselves in little chunks, or we can get help with. I think that's brilliant. Yeah. So wonderful. Well, Maria, it's been so great to have you on the show today. Thank you. You actually shared a bunch of new tips, something that I'm going to go check out as well. I hope that you will come back. I love seeing you. We're going to have lunch again soon, girlfriend.
Okay.
And thank you so much to viewers. I appreciate you watching the show. Please let me know what you've learned today. And come back again for more sanity-saving organizing wisdom from smart, busy, accomplished women here on Organizing Elephants on the MLTV Mainline Network.